Welcome to the Emberhart podcast. This is episode 29 of season 2. Now, we have a long conversation ahead of us, so let's dive into it. Speaking shame, daring greatly into the dark. Dear Amelia Emberhart, I have been sitting with shame lately, not running from it, not dressing it up, just letting it speak, or rather, letting myself speak it. Because shame, as Brené Brown writes in Daring Greatly, derives its power from being unspeakable. The moment we give it language, it begins to wither, and still it is astonishing how much energy we spend avoiding the very conversations that could set us free. There is a quote that keeps twinkling through my mind. Only when we are brave enough to explore the darkness will we discover the infinite power of our light. That's the work, not by bypassing the dark, but meeting it with courage. In Daring Greatly, Brené Brown tells us that in order to be vulnerable, we have to develop resilience to shame. That feels like the heart of it. We cannot dare greatly if we are terrified of being seen, and yet shame convinces us that visibility is dangerous. It whispers, "What will they think? Who do you think you are? You should have known better." So we hedge. We create something meaningful and then sand down it to its wildest edges, or we do not share it at all. Or we share it fully, creatively, bravely. And if the response does not meet our expectations, we are crushed. Shame rushes in and tells us that we never should have tried. But there's the trap. If we attach our self-worth to how our work is received and people love it, we are in even deeper trouble. Then we become prisoners of pleasing, performing, and perfecting. Creativity suffocates. Innovation dies quietly under the weight of approval. If we want a culture of creativity and innovation at work, at home, in our relationships, we need openness to vulnerability. Shame becomes fear. Fear leads to risk aversion. Risk aversion kills innovation every single time. Shame shows up as those internal recordings, what Daring Greatly calls shame tapes or gremlins, the messages of self-doubt and self-criticism we carry around in our heads. Shame is universal, yet we are all afraid to talk about it. The less we speak about shame, the more control it has over our lives. It is an intensely painful experience. One distinction that keeps grounding me is this. Guilt says, "I did something bad." Shame says, "I am bad." Guilt can be constructive. It can motivate accountability and repair. Shame is destructive. When we feel shame, we are most likely to blame someone or something else. When we apologize for something we have done, guilt is often the driving force. Humiliation is different. People believe they deserve their shame. They do not believe they deserve their humiliation. And when we do something embarrassing, there is often comfort in knowing we are not alone. Others have done it. It will pass. This is where shame resilience comes in. Shame resilience is the ability to practice authenticity when we experience shame, to move through it without sacrificing our values, and to come out on the other side with more courage, compassion, and connection than we had going into it. The bridge from shame to healing is empathy. Shame resilience begins with recognizing shame and understanding our triggers. It requires practicing critical awareness, reaching out instead of withdrawing, and speaking shame. Sometimes it is as simple as repeating pain, 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 pain to interrupt the lizard brain and return to the prefrontal cortex, where choice and perspective live. Shame shows up differently across gender lines. For women, the message is often be perfect, but do not make a fuss about it. Women are judged relentlessly by other mothers. There is no way to do it all, yet that is exactly what is expected. Never enough at work, never enough at home, never enough with parents. There is no seat at the cool girls' table. Looks and motherhood dominate shame triggers. Beauty must be effortless. Mothering must be natural. She makes it look so easy. Say what is on your mind, but do not upset anyone. Be yourself, but not shy or unsure. Be honest, but do not make people uncomfortable. Do not get too emotional, but do not be too detached either. Stay small, sweet, and quiet. Dreams and ambitions are optional and preferably invisible. For men, shame is often framed as failure. Failure at work, in sports, in marriage, in bed, with money. Shame means being wrong, defective, soft. Fear must not be shown. Weakness is unacceptable. Being criticized or ridiculed is devastating. The message is clear. Stop feeling, start earning, climb to the top. I think of the man who was fired and did not tell his wife for 6 months. Every morning he dressed for work, left the house, sat in coffee shops, and searched for jobs. His wife did not want to know. She did not sign up for that. We ask men to be vulnerable, to tell us when they are afraid, but many women cannot actually tolerate what real vulnerability looks like. Men learn to pretend vulnerability, which only deepens shame. Men often respond to shame with anger or shutdown. Fear turns into rage. Shame resilience allows for a different response: awareness, self-compassion, and empathy. One note that matters deeply: stop listening to criticism from people who are not in the arena themselves. Another uncomfortable truth: we judge others most harshly in the areas where we feel most vulnerable. If I feel grounded in my parenting, I have no interest in judging someone else's choices. We use each other as launching pads out of our own perceived shaming deficiencies. A screaming child in the grocery store? Do I roll my eyes, or do I offer empathy to the overwhelmed parent standing there? And then there is the quiet wisdom of the 12-teen rabbit. Real is not how you are made. When you are real, you do not mind being hurt. Becoming real takes time. It does not happen to people who break easily, or who have sharp edges, or who must be carefully kept. It happens to those willing to be worn, softened, and seen. Perhaps this is the invitation of daring greatly, Amelia. Not to eliminate shame, but to learn how to move through it with courage, to speak it, to meet it with empathy, to let it loosen its grip so our light, quiet, infinite, and real can finally breathe. This is your moment. Take command and show us the path. Thank you for listening today. Please join us on Facebook at facebook.com/emberhartco for more updates and behind the scenes content. Until next week.